what if you weren't scared of being disappointed? And instead, we're just able to be disappointed, but then just make another decision. And I think that's really what changed all of our lives.
Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roers, your host, and hey, thanks for joining me today. I'm here just to pour some positive back into your day with practical tips and stories to encourage and inspire. So let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roers, your host, and I'm so very honored today to welcome my sweet friend to the Sunshine Cafe. She's a wife, a mom, a fellow follower of Jesus, and someone with a deeply powerful story of love, loss, and incredible hope. Her journey from heartbreak of losing twin babies to now encouraging others who are going through that same valley is nothing short of inspiring. I know you're going to love meeting her. So, Jennifer, welcome to the Sunshine Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here and hearing my story. And I'm so excited to share it all with you.
You're just an amazing person and amazing force for good in our world. And I'm just so excited to hear your story. But before we dive into that, I would love our listeners to just learn a little bit more about who you are, what your life is like today, and what lights you up and the work that you're working on right now.
My life today is different and better than I ever thought it would be. I was raised by parents who also were lost parents. They had a baby who died at birth before me. So they very much lived and taught us to live in the you never know what life's going to hand you. You just have to play it safe. You just have to, just do what you can do and just get by. And so I did that for a long time, and then I had my own loss and came out of that in such a different way that I see the world and that I see the possibilities of the world. And so yeah, my husband and I are empty nesters at this point. We have three grown kids, and he travels for his work, and because of the work I get to do, I get to go along. And when I experienced my loss 25 years ago now, I remember at that time thinking, someday I'm gonna help other people through this. And I just didn't know how until I had my own introduction to coaching. And so that's what I do now. I help women who are dealing with stillbirth loss find hope and healing and maybe have another baby without so much fear and really see their life in a whole different way after their loss
Mm.
because you just are. You're a different person when you experience this. So how can you take that and become better for it? So that's what I do.
Yeah. I'm finding more and more that we really need the help from another person to sometimes work through some of these things because it's just hard. I have a phrase that someone told me once, and I just it stuck with me that it's just really hard to read the label when you're inside the jar.
It is. And I think when you are raised with people who, very well meaning are like, well, you do the best you can and, life will kick you when you're down. My mother used to say that. And so when you do grow up with that and you have that narrative, it's really hard to hear yourself say that. So that's what's so beautiful about having someone else in your life, whether it's a coach or a good friend or whoever it is, that can say, wait a minute, did you just wait, take that back? I don't know because I think what you say really does project so much of what you do.
Absolutely, it does. Oh my goodness. Just ask my son. He would tell you. I correct him all the time. Anytime he says he can't do something, I'm like, wait, yet. You can't do it yet. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean you won't be able to do it for sure. So it's like, yeah, what we say to ourselves really matters.
It sure does. And especially when you are in a season of grief or loss or something, it can be very easy to just go down and which is what I did for several years. Like my life is ruined. It's never going to be the same. I'm never going to be happy.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to go right. It just never, I always feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
And so being able to think differently about that changes your life.
Absolutely. Sure does. Well, as maybe as a point to honor your two baby girls, can you tell us a little bit about what happened in that? Is that okay to talk about?
Course, yes, I'm happy to. Yeah, I had two boys. They were 5 and 2, and we wanted one, one more maybe, and maybe try for a girl. And so I got the news at my first sonogram that it was twins, which was shocking, and it made me cry of overwhelm. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, I was thinking one more, but now two. And it turns out later that was a source of guilt for me because that was my initial reaction. But I, yeah, we were super excited and super happy. Everything was going great. We got to 32 weeks and I had just been to the doctor and everything was fine. And he actually, I think at that appointment, he told me it was a textbook pregnancy. And 3 days later, I didn't feel them moving. And there was a lot of movement with at that point in time with two. So I knew something was wrong and I was right. So it started the whole thing. I had to go and deliver them, of course. And then we did a funeral and then we did, it was just like this whole out of body experience that you have when you're that far along. Your body produces milk for a baby that you don't have and you have all of these things to deal with. Plus I was trying to show up for my two boys
Of course.
and because they still needed a mother who was somewhat put together. And so what I did was really just internalize it all.
Mm.
And um and I did have that mother who just said, well, when life gets you down, it kicks you in the face, so it wasn't that
Thanks, Mom.
extremely helpful. And my husband was anxious for me to just be okay, get back to normal. Like, we just need you to be normal. And then I did have another baby. I had another baby just a year later, and I did have a daughter. And so everyone kind of breathed a sigh of relief, like, okay, she's fine. Everything's good. She's got her girl. She's got another baby. Everything's good. But it really wasn't good. And I was really, really suffering for a lot of years. I hated my body. I didn't trust my body. Um, I was living life very, very safe, and it all really came to a head when I owned my own business for a lot of years. I'm a hairstylist by trade, and I owned a salon and spa. And so I went to a business conference, and at the conference, they did an exercise where we made vision boards. And so everyone was happily sitting there cutting out of the magazines all these, dream vacations and houses and things. And I was sitting there blank because I was like, how do I know these things? These things I can't predict that this is going to happen. How would I know what's going to happen? So there was a life coach in session and she saw this happening with me and kind of was like, what's going on? What's at the bottom of this? And so what we got down to was that because of my loss and because of the way I was operating and because I had stuffed it down and I just kept myself busy, 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 busy. And as long as I was busy, I was okay. But then when you stop to think about your future or what you want for your life or what is possible or what could be next, it just made me freeze.
Mm.
And so that's where the life coaching came into play. And I was able to unpack a lot of it and give myself permission to forgive myself, to release the guilt, forgive my body, and to be able to dream again for the future because I was so scared.
I bet.
I was so scared. So,
Well, even having your baby girl that you have must have been when you got to that 32-week mark, must have
mm,
been terrifying. Did you ever have a sense or did you ever get some resolve about what happened to the other two?
they had a court accident. So they were identical, so they shared a blood supply. So really one of them had a twisted cord, and so because they shared a blood supply, there would be no hope of
Oh,
saving the other one. And yeah, so they just came together and went together.
okay.
Um, but yeah,
Okay. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Well, I'm so sorry, my dear friend. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
But yet you made it through your other pregnancy, and the fear and just getting through those weeks and getting to delivery had to have been the biggest weight off of your shoulders to know that you were good and baby was good.
well, yes. Except there is something that I didn't realize either is that you are afraid to bond with that baby. You're afraid to bond with them because you're not sure they get to stay. And so we kind of had a rough start. I mean, it's just the joy of my life now, and
Yeah.
everything's fine. But that is something I really work with a lot of my clients on too, is like, yes, I realize you want to have that new baby and getting them through that pregnancy week by week. I provide a lot of support, probably more through their next pregnancy than
Mm,
anything. And
mhm.
then you would like to think, well, once the baby's born, it's all good. But that's another whole challenge because you are scared that they're not going to get to stay. So you almost on purpose distance yourself, which is something most people don't realize. And especially the outside world. If you haven't experienced this, you look at someone and you're like, oh, good for her. She has her baby. Everything's great. And it's not, especially if they have unresolved grief along with it, which
It,
you just do.
yeah,
Mm.
you do. And especially in your case, you had another beautiful baby so soon after that, you probably were still processing a ton of information and a ton of what just happened.
Yes, right. And I mean, it was such a relief to not have it happen again. But at the same time, then there's this guilt of like, but I'm happy about this baby, and does that mean that I didn't love my babies that died, or that I'm gonna forget about them because now I'm focusing on this new baby? I mean, there's just all these things that factor in.
Yeah. That's a
Hmm.
really good point, and I think that is cross applicable to anybody who loses someone,
Hmm.
especially if you're pregnant and you lose any kind of a loss during that season of pregnancy. We get into this battle between, is it okay for me to feel happy while I'm also completely heartbroken? And a dear friend of mine, doctor friend of mine, who lost her son, teenager, in a car accident, and she opened my eyes to something that I think is an incredible testament to her strength, because she would continue to teach people about what her topic area, and she had joy, and she would laugh and she would smile. And someone had asked her once about the recent loss of her son, and she's like, what I realize is I'm capable of having two emotions at the same time. I
Yes.
can have extreme heartbreaking grief and happiness. I can be both. I can have both. How did you navigate those different emotions that were inevitably coming because you had the grief, and yet a year later you had this beautiful new life?
Yeah. Well, yeah, survivor's guilt is very real. And when you were saying that, it kind of makes me think too of the things that people say to you, which is very, because people are very uncomfortable with you holding those two emotions.
Hmm.
They just want you to
Like,
be
how
good.
dare you be happy?
Yeah, like, oh, well, you should be happy now, right? You have
Right.
your new baby. You should be fine. Everything's good. Not really realizing that it's a struggle because you're also feeling sad that you don't have, you look at this new baby and you think, would this baby even be here had the twins lived? Probably not. I don't
Yeah.
know. And just, yeah, there's just all these emotions. And so it's a lot to sort out and hold. And like you said, to make it be okay for you to be happy while also feeling really, really sad. And it's, tiring.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I bet it is exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very tiring.
So, if anyone's out there listening and is struggling, whether it's a child loss or a family member loss or a friend loss, and they're trying to wrestle with this mix of emotions, I've got some good things happening on one side of my brain, and I've got some really dark grief things on the other side of my brain. Do you have any suggestions or how to work through those mix of emotions?
Yes, I think the first thing is what I always tell people is to really, when you're wrestling with it, stop and look at the facts.
Mm,
What are the facts of your situation? Is is there anything you could have done about it? Probably not. There's very often when grief happens or tragic things happen, you go back and you try to reassess things and second guess, and I should have done this and I should have done that. But is that realistic? Usually when I ask people that, they're like, no, there's nothing. I mean, like in my situation, there's no way of knowing that that was going to happen.
right.
There's nothing I could have done different. So I think the minute you can get that in your body, you're like, instantly you can breathe. Like, okay, well, I mean, I did the best I could. And this is another thing I always teach people is you did the best you could for what you knew at the time. You did the best you could. And it's such a hard time to be making all the decisions that we need to be making
Mhm.
at that time. And you do the best you can. And just sitting in that and knowing that and being okay with that is really helpful. And I think having someone in your life, whether it is a family member or a partner, or if you do have outside professional help, whoever it is that can just hear what you say and just be like, yep, yeah, it's normal for you to say that. Because I think sometimes we feel so bad about our thoughts and we feel so guilty that we create shame about it. And it's not. It's not shameful. They're normal thoughts, and sometimes we just need someone who can help us normalize it.
Sure. Did you end up doing journal? Do any other tips or tricks that really worked well for you to try to process through those emotions?
So this is kind of like another piece of the story is the church that we were going to at the time had another family who she had twins, but only one, she lost only one. And then our pastor, shortly after our loss, our pastor, they had a baby who died at birth. So it was so interesting because we were in this like little grief group within our church, not even on purpose. And it's just circumstantial that it all really happened around the same time. So that was a huge
Mm,
source of relief because I was struggling with my faith.
mm,
And I was really, when something like this happens, people like to offer you things like, well, God must have needed another angel, or God needed your babies more than you did, or they say things like that. And it really makes you bitter. Like, no, I don't think
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
I, I don't think he did.
No.
But, and yeah, and all of the things that you have been raised to know about your faith and, all of those things really come into question for a while. And strangely, even when I saw my pastor struggling with it, I knew
Mm,
it wasn't just me.
mm,
And this is our human reaction to this. And then to be able to work through it and know, like, but on the other side of it, I get to see them again because of my faith. I get to see them again because of my faith. I know that my mother, who just died last year, is with them.
mm,
Or, because of your faith, you know that they're very taken care of. And So that has become a visualization that I do with my clients too, is if they are have a strong faith, like who do you know that's already there that's holding your babies and waiting for you?
Yeah.
And so that I think brings a huge relief. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't much of a journaler. Like I said, I had the two boys. I was busy, busy, busy all the time and try to keep myself busy. Um, but I stuffed a lot of it down until I did my life coaching, and then it was just really getting down into the facts of it. What are the facts? What do I know was different? What do I know about my life now that may or may not have been different then? What do
Mm-hmm.
I know about how my strength and my resilience and who I have become? Because when you go through something like this, you don't worry about little things anymore.
Mm.
All of a sudden you have such clarity on what are the things that are important and what's not. So that's really where my healing took place.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I commend you and I applaud you so much in the way that you are using your pain to help someone else through what they've gone through. I think the whole idea of miscarriage and baby loss is just something obviously we don't talk about as much as maybe we should. It's like you don't like meet someone and just, bring that up as your first point of interest. But I think it's really helpful to understand that this is normal and that it does happen and that there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing wrong with, your future you and your permission to give yourself the right to dream again and to be happy again. And that this is just unfortunately a part of life. And I will never understand it this side of heaven. And it's okay to
Mhm.
say, I don't know why.
But the human brain tries to look for reasons.
Totally.
So it makes it really hard when we are searching for reasons and we want to put a label on it. We want to
Mhm.
we want to package it up so that it looks like, okay, here's the reason and here's why. And it's so often in this type of loss, especially, there's no reason and
Mm-mm.
it's hard.
Yeah. No
Hmm.
reason. There's nothing you could have done. It just is what it is. And
Yeah.
you have to just really work on just loving yourself through the process. And
Just a lot of forgiveness for yourself, for your body,
Mhm.
for whatever the circumstances are, and
Mhm.
yeah, and letting it go so that you can I don't even love to say move forward
Mhm.
because that's hard. That feels like you're leaving them there and you're moving on, which
Right.
I really teach to that, like, you integrate grief into your life.
Mhm.
I don't know that there's healing. I think you can feel better. I think there's an aspect of healing, but I think overall what you do is integrate this grief into your life because of the new person you've become on the other side of it.
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to say it. And I really like that you're saying you don't ever move on or move past it because then you're leaving those loved ones behind and that doesn't feel right at all. So, but integrating it into your life and carrying their legacy with you as you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, because you do take it with you, but it can be really, it just feels better when you know that too, that
Hmm.
you're taking it with you and that it's not a burden.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, one of the things you've said to me in previous conversations that I think is just so powerful is how your life is so amazing and how what what that experience has done in your heart and with who you are has changed you so much. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Mm. Yes, my life is so amazing. And I didn't think it would be because, well, I thought it was ruined. And that when my kids left home, I would just be ready to do nothing but die. Just that my life was over. I would just die then. And it's not been like that at all. And so, yeah, I have just really along the way seen the possibilities. And I really challenge the normal. I try to challenge the normal thing about age or what you're supposed to be doing in certain stages and how you're supposed to be living. And I think because of that, my husband and I have completely changed our life. We've completely taken risks in our lifestyle, and we just really are doing what we want to do. And my kids are doing great, so that's always a huge relief. And I just think, yeah, I think had I stayed in that state of, well, this is as good as it gets. It's never getting any better from here. I honestly, I can't imagine where it would be now. Like my life looks so different now than I thought it would be at this stage back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly was because I was able to have someone help me through that thinking and switching those thoughts and rethinking everything about my life.
Mm-hmm.
That allowed me to just, I don't know, just choose excitement and fun and just, yeah, just a whole different lifestyle.
That's amazing. It really is amazing, Jennifer, because we started this conversation saying how your family had kind of always told you to kind of take it conservatively and to, not to be a risk taker and to kind of just let life happen and don't
Yeah.
be overzealous in that respect. And now you're almost pushing that to the opposite side of that pendulum to say, no, I'm going to challenge the norm and I'm going to reach for something different and better and give myself permission to dream again. And I think that's a indication of a huge mental and heart shift that you've been able to have.
I think it is. And I think it's almost, when you were saying that, it made me think too, like, I think my parents, they were scared of disappointment. And when you go through life, you know that disappointment is a part of life.
Mhm.
So maybe what if you weren't scared of being disappointed and instead were just able to be disappointed, but then just make another decision that, just was different instead of sitting in disappointment. And I think that maybe is what we've learned to do. And I know I think that's one thing I've really taught my kids. And that's what the gift was for my kids that came out of it is, yeah, life doesn't always go as you plan, but here's what you do. You just keep going. You just make a different decision. And I think that's really what changed all of our lives
Yeah. Yeah,
from it.
definitely. Well,
Mhm,
there's nothing more disappointing than what you went through. And
mhm.
so your resilience to endure other disappointments has got to be a whole shift now. Like you had said, it's really changed how you look at life and how you look at the things that are coming and what's really important.
When you suffer a big disappointment like that, everything else is doable.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like, why am I really worried about that? The prices of eggs or whatever it is. It's like, really, it's not that important. Life, I'm good. My kids are good. We're alive. We're well.
We
It
can
really
do that.
does put things in
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah.
Sure does.
Oh, you are such a beautiful soul. I'm just so glad you're in my world.
Oh,
Tell me a
you.
little bit. I know you have a course coming up that I think you're launching pretty soon here as we come closer to Mother's Day. Tell me more about that.
It's gonna launch right around Mother's Day because I know Mother's Day is such a hard time for lost moms of any kind,
Hmm.
and especially moms who never really got to spend any time with their baby. But it's called the Stillbirth Roadmap, and it's going to just provide support because I think there's so many stages of stillbirth loss. There's the stage right after you give birth to your baby, which is, the physical aspects and the shock and like, what do I do now? And then there's another stage where you're kind of like, well, why is everyone else living their life like it's normal? And here I am, and my whole life is devastated. And so in the midst of that, how do I go back to work or communicate with my partner who thinks, completely different than I do, or maybe you're raising kids in the middle of it. And then there's another stage that's sort of like, well, maybe you did have another baby or are pregnant again. That's where the integration really comes into play. Like, how do I take this experience and put it into practice with the rest of my life and make my life better because of this new perspective I have and not
Mhm.
be, and honor the grief and honor the babies and
Mhm.
integrate that into your life. So I'm really excited about it. It's a 12-week program that goes with it, with coaching with me. And so yeah, it's my first time with it. So I'm super excited to get this information out to the world. And at the time that I had my loss, it's been 25 years. So the best I could find was there was an in-person support group, but I had two little boys and a husband who worked nights, so that didn't really work for me. We had no social media, so not to sound like a dinosaur, but we had no internet or social media even at that time. I had nowhere to go
Mm.
except for maybe a few people who were brave enough to step forward and tell me their stories.
Mm.
And so I really am trying to create everything that I wish I had. And now in modern technology, I get to do it all over. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. What a beautiful way to honor those two little girls is to use their loss as a way to help others, you know? If you did nothing, their loss would have been for nothing. But if
Yeah.
you can use the impression that they made on your heart to help other women work through that as well, then they have a purpose too.
Yes. I mean, you don't want to ever I'm not ever going to be the person that's like, oh, well, it was for your, everything happens for a
Right.
reason. And it was good.
No,
And like,
no.
I still I can't do that. But boy, when you really can take that and really recognize the ways that it did impact your life in a positive way, it's the best gift ever.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, thank you so much for sharing just a little slice of your story. I know there's so much more to that, but I just so appreciate you're willing to share that because I think, as we were saying earlier, it's a topic that's hard to talk about and really needs to be, especially if someone is still dealing with that grief and has been through that or knows somebody who has dealt with that. So I hope they will reach out to you. Where can they find you?
I have a free video series called When No One Understands Your Pain After Stillbirth. So that's at jennifersenn.com/help. So it just but anywhere on my website is probably the easiest way to find out
Okay.
everywhere that I am. But
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. I will put those links in the show notes so people can just click and go. That'll be easy for
yes,
them.
yeah.
All right, well, before we wrap up, my sweet friend, is there any final encouragement or anything you would like to just leave people with before we wrap up?
I would love to. I always love to educate, if I can, people who may come across someone in their life
Mm.
because the statistics are huge. It's 1 in 4 for miscarriage. It used to be 16. I think we're down to 12 for stillbirth now. So there may be someone in your life, and my best advice is if you are in that situation that it's happened to someone that you know, the best thing to do is just to say, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I'm here to listen. That is the biggest gift you can give anyone, and not offering, anything that starts with at least. Never offer at least you can have another baby, at least you
Right.
this, at least you already have kids, whatever it is. There's a lot of comparison in loss.
Sure.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't get to meet them because my friend had a baby who died, they were 3 years old.
Oh,
Yes, I mean, my heart aches for that mama. Like, I can't imagine,
yeah.
you've got pictures and you've got memories and you've got voices and
Right.
But there's no worse.
Right.
Nobody's loss is worse than another person's
No,
loss,
for
another
sure.
person's loss, because the fact remains none of us have our babies here.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's something I think people always are quick to, because again, as humans, we want to rationalize, we want to reason, we want to compare, we want to like put it all in these compartments. And there's a
And
lot of grief, a lot of grieving, a lot of people grieving all
a lot of
kinds of.
people grieving, yeah. And the most important thing I just heard you say was one person's grief is never better or worse than another person's grief. Grief is grief.
Yeah.
This is such an important work you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even though we've got internet and all the Facebook groups and whatever else, it's like there's nobody who's better equipped to help somebody than someone who's been through that and is a little bit ahead of you as far as the healing process and can help pull people through that and support
Yes.
them through that and listen to them through that.
Well, it's funny because a lot of my clients will say, I went to therapy for like a year, but it didn't help because the therapist had never gone through it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they would always try to like fix their thinking, whatever, where they get in my room and I'm like, yep, I know. Yeah, like I can finish their sentences because
Um,
it is the way that they think. And that is a huge relief to someone, even if, like, even if you can't take care of that thinking, which we usually can. But just to have someone know, like, oh yeah,
mhm.
I felt the same way. You're
Yeah.
not you're not alone,
Right.
because that is very isolating.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Let's do
can
it.
learn things in a book, but it's
Yeah.
so different when you have lived experience.
Yeah, totally. Mm.
But really just the best way to support someone like that is to just be willing to listen, because that's what they need more than anything.
Yeah, most definitely. Maybe mow their lawn for them and take care of some of life. That's,
Take a bag of groceries and put it at their door.
yeah, yeah.
That's the best thing you can do.
And pray for them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't even know what they need at that point, but
Mm.
just being there.
That's a sign of a good friend, someone who can just say, hey, I don't know what to say, but I'm here. I'm here for
That's
you when and if and with whatever you need. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
um,
that's helpful.
well, Jennifer, I'm super excited for your course launch, and I know it's going to help a ton of people. So I'll just really encourage people. You don't know Jennifer, but I do. She's amazing. So I will just tell you that I give her my complete endorsement for if you want to work with someone who's just really genuine and will help you immensely. She's a good one to work with. So thank you again for your time today. I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
Jennifer has such a compassion and sincere desire to help others. I have 7 beautiful takeaways for you today. Number 1, you're allowed to feel it all and still live your life. Jennifer reminds us that grief and healing are not linear. You can have both light and darkness in your thoughts and daily moments. Learning to feel that disappointment without feeling fear and simply making the next decision is key to living a life that you love and bringing the legacy of your lost ones with you. Which leads me to number 2. You don't move on from grief, you integrate it. Instead of getting over loss, Jennifer teaches all of us that you have to learn to carry it as part of your story. That integration shapes a new version of you, and one marked with strength, wisdom, and compassion. Number 3, healing begins when we face the facts. Facts, not the shame. Look at what actually happened, not the what ifs or what I shoulda, coulda, woulda done. And if you do look at just the facts, that can quiet the guilt and the shame that can creep in on those quiet moments. Jennifer emphasizes that the vast majority of parents are really doing the best they can with what they know at the time. And that truth can bring a lot of deep peace to all of us. Number 4, faith reframes everything. Jennifer's deep faith in Christ gives her an eternal lens. This is not the end. This place on earth is just a stopping over point. And because of that, Jennifer has the assurance and hope that she's going to see those baby girls again. And that certainty sustains her and brings a lot of light to an otherwise dark chapter. Number 5, listening is the greatest gift you can give to someone else who's grieving. When someone you know is grieving, you don't need the perfect words. You don't need to say the perfect thing. In fact, sometimes your words can unintentionally make things worse. So instead of trying to say the right thing, just be present. Offer to be a sounding board and listen and affirm without judgment. Offer to take the burden of other life things off their plate. Help with the other children they may have, bring a meal or mow the lawn or plow the driveway. These small acts of kindness will ease the burden they have in other areas of their life and allow your friend the time to heal and process the loss that they're experiencing. Number 6, grief has many stages and none of them are wrong. Jennifer described layers of loss, the physical recovery, the emotional isolation, and navigating life after loss, including that whole process of deciding to and becoming pregnant again. Each stage of grief has its own concerns, questions, and emotions, and we need to allow ourselves the time to process it all. And when we do that, we have the chance to heal and come to terms with the facts of our unique situation. And finally, number 7, life can and will be full and beautiful again, maybe even in a way that surprises you. Jennifer once believed that her life was over after that devastating loss. But instead of staying stuck in that this is as good as it gets kind of perspective, she let herself process the facts, work through the various emotions and the physical changes, and then opened herself up to receive the unexpected joy and purpose in the new chapter of her life. Hey, thank you for joining me today. Hey, and if you would, please share this episode because you never know what kind of encouragement might be in our conversation that someone you know needs to hear. So if you would, please pass it along, like it, share it, and subscribe. Together, we can flood the world with more encouragement. Until next time, stay encouraged, be inspired, and I'll see you right back here next time at the Sunshine Cafe.